Well, whether they return to campus or learn in a virtual classroom, all college students deserve to thrive amid this challenging semester.
They certainly do, and they can. That's what's important to remember. Here to share academic, financial, and social tips to help them navigate this new landscape is Ibrahim Firat, Chief Educational Consultant at Firat Education. Welcome back to Houston Life. It's been a minute, and I'm glad you're spending time with us today to give us a bit of hope for so many college students who might be feeling so overwhelmed. And your first tip is really that they should not be overloading their class schedules.
Yes, don't take too many classes. In a typical school year, students tend to take up to 4 to 5 classes a semester, which is nice full load. But with COVID-19, we recommend taking the minimum possible that will still allow them the full-time status. And that's most likely around 3 classes. So what I would recommend is look into your schedule today and see if you're, overloading. And if that's the case, go back and drop 1 or 2 of those classes with the intention to take them again in mini semester in the winter or maybe next summer sometime, given that colleges allow you for no fee, no charge drop date through early to mid-September in many cases.
That's great advice, not to get overloaded. That relieves a lot of the stress, I'm sure. Let's also move on to technology. And I know when it comes to college students, truly technology is no longer an excuse.
That is true. But when they were thrown into this virtual learning environment last spring, there were so many issues, server overloads and server lockouts and, systems not working. So colleges, administrators, professors, they've been lenient on the students during that time because we were all thrown into this uncharted territory. But this semester, I don't expect that to be happening. Technology is no longer an excuse. In fact, colleges have taken many steps to ensure systems work effectively. They allow learning platform trainings. They give trainings or as well as resources like computers or mobile hotspots to students. So students should be contacting those technology departments and really giving them the chance to tell them this is what I have and this is what I need to succeed in this semester.
Yeah, definitely spend time getting to know those platforms. I remember, Ibrahim, when I was in college, professors would say office hours, schedule time in my office hours. And a lot of students out there might be saying, oh, well, virtual education, I can't do that. I can't go to office hours. But you say it is so critical, especially now that these students are engaging with their professors.
That's correct. And what we've come to find is students tend to reach out to their professors when there is a problem. And by that time, it might be too late. And don't let your first conversation with your professor be the negative conversation. Call them, email them as early as this weekend before school starts and introduce yourselves, let them know that you're excited to take their class, and ask them what do they need to do to ensure they can succeed in their class. So what happens in a lot of times is if you don't ask, you're never going to find out how you can succeed. So professors love that kind of engagement early on, and they also want to connect you with other resources in the college like career services or alumni services to succeed.
Okay, so we've covered sort of the academic advice. Let's move on to the financial advice. And this is really interesting on ways on how to save money. And you say to take a really good look at some of these dining plans on campus.
Yeah, dining could get expensive. And we've found that many campuses around the country, especially now, most campuses offer meal plans that typically consist of buffet services. But with COVID-19 in place, students can expect to get packaged foods instead of hot meals. So students, for this first couple of weeks, they should really take their time to vet out the dining options they have. So instead of committing to thousands of dollars of meal plans for a semester or for a year, they can maybe make their own sandwiches instead of packaged sandwiches and save tons of money in the upfront.
And Ibrahim, for students who maybe need some help financially, financial assistance, isn't that every student? Couldn't they all use financial assistance? What advice do you have for them?
So if you're in need of financial assistance due to COVID, due to unemployment, underemployment of family, of parents, or anything, reach out to the financial aid office. They are your best advocates when it comes to paying for your education. If things have changed suddenly, they have plans in place and they have funds in place somewhere that will help them, help you go through that process. And also what we've found is some colleges allow tuition deferrals or tuition discounts depending on the program that you're in, depending on the college that you're in. So the tuition deferral, for instance, is a very interesting concept. You start school now and you don't pay until January, which is a new concept that came out of COVID.
And speaking of COVID and the times that we're in, it's really important right now for all the students to understand that policy, whatever it may be, on campus, classroom, all of that needs to be very clear for all of the students.
Absolutely. And what we've come to find in the last couple of days is flagship universities around the country have shut down again after reopening because those guidelines were not followed. So for those students who are starting college next week, I highly encourage them to review these discipline policies and guidelines as well, because colleges that have not opened yet having ramped up those discipline policies for students who don't follow those guidelines. And they should be wearing a mask or limit their social gatherings. If that's in the rules, then they got to follow. And if they don't follow, I actually expect many students being sent home, even though the campus doesn't shut down, or to a point of complete expulsion from college.
And that would not be a good thing. Ibrahim Firat, thank you so much for your advice today. And honestly, just thank you for giving us hope, because the bottom line is these students, they can do it.
They can. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Good to see you. Well, we shared these tips for college students on our website, HoustonLife.tv.
And we will be right back.